Hello everyone, I've been a painting contractor for 25 years and the goal of this channel is to help make painting at home simple. For all of you do-it-yourselfers out there looking for professional results and wanting to save some money. So thanks for watching and please like and subscribe. We want to help as many people as we can. Thanks again. Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of our how to paint a bathroom from start to finish. We just finished all the trim, and what we've done is we've gone around, and I want you to take a look. We've masked and covered everything in our bathroom. The bathtub, the sink, the vanity, plastic, drop cloths, tile, and all of the new trim we've just painted. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into prepping and preparing the walls and ceilings for the next step. Now I want you to see how we've done this with the tape because I've used 2 different kinds here. The yellow frog tape is a delicate tape. We just finished all of this trim yesterday. We want to paint the walls today, so we want to use this tape along all of our lines right here, and I'll show you an example. So all of the trim was taped with the yellow frog tape, and then we come back over it to give us some space from the roller, and we protect it even further with a roll of 1.5 inch white tape. So that's just a standard roll of white tape, yellow frog tape, and then we have our masker and our green frog tape that we use everywhere else as we go around, and we want to cover all of the tops of the windows because what we're going to do is we're going to paint the ceiling, we're going to prime it. And before we get into any of that, we're going to start with the very first thing, which is going to be cleaning the wall. We have areas in this bathroom that had candles and candle smoke stains, as well as hairspray in various areas and things like that. There's moisture problems. We've got some mold and mildew, just a little bit. And so we use this cleaning spray. It's by Zepp, foaming wall cleaner. And I'm going to show you how I do it. And we're going to just hit the bad spots. But let me go ahead and take this camera and I'm going to show you. We'll get a close up here of an area where there's a candle. And then if I follow it up to the ceiling line, try to see if you can see this in the video, but we've got smoke all up into the corners. And these walls have some drips on them. And up in the far corner, we've got some mold and mildew. And so if we come around the top of the bathroom, you can really see that all over the walls and the corners. And what we want to do is address any areas that might have these smoke stains or mold and mildew stains. And we've got a stain on the wall where the clock was. So the first thing we want to do is get our cleaner out and clean the surface. So we're going to check in with you in a second and start that process. All right, so here we are. We're going to clean our walls. We're going to hit all the areas that we need to hit. I've got 2 things. I've got a Scotch pad and I've got a simple rag. All right, so we're just going to kind of spray it onto the wall just like that. And we're going to work it around. And we don't need to do too much, but we can keep applying it in spurts. And then we can come at it with the rough part of the pad if we want. Okay, to really work the stain. And then we can turn it over and come with the soft spot. And so what I'm doing is I'm cleaning this whole area that had the smoke stain on it. And I can see already standing here that it's done a pretty good job of cleaning it. So we'll just give it a little bit more. And again, we're just going to hit the mold and mildew spots and any of the smoke stains. And then we're going to let the primer do the rest of the work. Okay. See this spot up here? Another example. That was a smoke stain. Now we're going to do the mold. Okay. I can see up close here, I'm already removing all of this smoke / mold. The Scotch pad really does a good job. Come back to the soft spot. And what I'll do is I'll use a couple of these sponges and then a rag if I need to in a spot. Bathrooms get a lot of stains, sometimes mold and mildew. It's really important to have your bath fan always running. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to all these spots right now with our cleaner and our sponges. We've got a couple of them, and we're gonna really just clean them as best as we can, and then we're gonna let this dry for about an hour before we come back and apply our primer. We'll just keep going from one step to the next. We'll check back in. All right, so we're all done with cleaning our walls. And we've used, again, this product. It's a foaming wall cleaner. It's meant to be put on walls, ceilings. It's for the very purpose of cleaning what we just explained. Please keep in mind that this product isn't going to necessarily remove stains for you. It might lighten them, but the purpose is to clean the residue off of your walls or ceilings from smoke, candle burning, like again, hairspray, anything that might have been with moisture over the years kind of embedded into the walls. So we want to clean the residue off the walls, not necessarily going to take the stain away. We need the prime coat, our next step. We need it to bond. We want it to do what it's going to do. We're going to use a primer that's a stain blocking primer, and it's meant for moisture areas. Before we get to that, we're just going to take a look once more on the finalizing of our prep. We've cleaned the walls, and we've gone ahead with our spackle. We have a video on this, but this is the product we use. It's a high strength repair. It's got primer mixed into it. And we went around, and if you see these holes right here, this is an example of some bigger spots we've spackled. And then little imperfections even, like this. If you kind of come in under this nail, you'll see that was a little spot that we fixed. So what we want to do is, now that we've gone around and we've looked at all the walls and ceilings for any imperfections and we've spackled them, we're going to go ahead and sand down those spots, and then we're going to pole sand our walls. We want to make sure we get the walls real nice and smooth. They are already in pretty good shape, but if there's a little bit of grittiness or any kind of roughness from the first time it was painted, maybe the person didn't sand the walls, we want to do that. We want to get them sanded. Now, this isn't going to create a ton of dust. This is kind of like a soft surface sand. We're going to use 400 grit sandpaper or 300 grit sandpaper. One or the other, depending on how smooth the wall is already. And then we're just going to go up and down, and I'm going to give you an example right here on this wall with our pole. And we're just going to go real light. You can see we've got some nails. The owners would like to keep the pictures that were up in these spots, so we'll show you how we go around and do that when we get to the painting. But for now, I'm just going real light, up and down, over the surface. And this is going to really smooth out any part that maybe wasn't smooth before. Okay, like I said, we're going to sand any spackle spots. We're going to pole sand the walls smooth. And we're going to get into our primer. We'll see you soon. All right, next step. We're getting ready to put our primer on. We're going to prime the entire ceiling and all of the walls in this bathroom. Complete fresh start. This is what we're going to use. We're going to keep it simple. This product by Kills, Kitchen and Bath Interior Primer. It resists mold. It seals, and it's a stain blocker. This is what is going to be our base coat. So we have prepped and gotten the walls cleaned and sanded. We are ready to go. This is an inexpensive product. This is perfect for a bathroom. This will be our starting point. This is the roller we're going to use by Wooster. It's a 3/8 inch nap. It is a thin nap. It's not thick, but it's not too thin. And it's the Pro Do Z. So this is the product that we like to use because it's not going to leave a lot of splatter when we roll over our head or on the walls. As always, we are going to start by straining our gallon. In case there's anything in there that's going to be left on the walls when we're rolling, we want a nice clean strained paint. We're going to use our Purdy 2-inch blue bristle brush for this project. And what we're going to do is, if you're by yourself, I'm going to show you how to strain this. We've got another video on why you should strain paints, and you can check that out. But if you have someone with you, it's the best way to do it. Otherwise, what I try to do is I just get the strainer around the gallon like this, and I'll get my thumbs on it and I'll just pour this way, holding onto the strainer while I pour. Okay, and then once it gets out, it gets less and less heavy. I just kind of work the strainer back, and then I take my roller and you can push real softly all the paint out of the strainer. Okay? Okay. Then that gives you a starting point for your roller. And what I like to do is I like to get the roller started and get it as saturated with as much paint. I don't want to dip it in there and get it too heavy and too loaded. I want to just work it back and forth at the top, and I want that paint to absorb into the roller, but I don't want it to get too heavy. Set that there. I've got my brush, so what I usually do is I'll take the lid and I'll set this like that on the lid, and I'll set it off to the side. Okay? This is going to be my cut pot. Whatever paint is left in here now is going to be the paint that I work out of. This is my gallon, this is my cut pot. So I'll get that all cleaned up, and I'll just hold on to it like that, and I'll get the brush started. Okay, and then I work it back and forth, make sure there's nothing dripping. I can wipe it a couple times to get it started, and then I'm just gonna go up like that, okay? So there's my cut pot, there's my roller setup. I've got a roller pole. I'm gonna click it into place and it locks right into that, so it's not a twist, it stays nice, and I can adjust it to any height I want, and it makes it a lot easier to work with. I'm gonna give you an example of how we get this started. And I'm gonna start by cutting in an area right here and rolling it. We've got a separate video on how to paint a ceiling. You need to check it out from start to finish, and we have separate videos on how to paint a room, how to paint walls. So we're gonna go ahead and show you how we're gonna get this started right here. And then we're gonna go ahead and do the rest of it and check back in with you. So since I'm doing the walls and the ceiling, and since this is just primer, I'm gonna start right like this on the ceiling, and I'm gonna brush as far as I can in this spot, and I really wanna go back and forth a few times and make sure I don't have any hard lines. We wanna smooth out the primer, okay? Just like it's a finish coat, and really cover it and go back and forth, making sure you got a little bit on your brush and you got just a little section to work in. And I smooth it out. I don't want any hard lines, but then while I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut in the wall right away. Okay, so I'm gonna cut in the wall, and I'm gonna cut in the ceiling of this spot before I move my brush, before I move my ladder. Okay, and I can see I've got a nice even line there, and I've got a nice even line there. Don't have any hard lines. Okay, I'm getting everything cut in as I go. Now, because this is primer, it's water-based, it doesn't smell as bad. The water-based kills. There's not a lot of odor, and it's low VOC. There's a separate video on that. You'll have to find out what that is. But what we want to do is we want to cut in the whole room, and then we're going to roll it. So because it's primer, I can go around and cut the whole room in, all the walls and ceilings, and then roll it all. I wouldn't do that if I was in finish coat. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to come over here and go to the end, and then I'm going to show you how I start to roll. Okay? All right, and we're going to have a nice, fresh, clean start to work with in this bathroom, protecting it from mold and mildew and moisture. And then we're going to go ahead over the tops of the casings, and we're going to cut that in. We've already taped the top up here, so we just want to follow that. Okay, and you can see the idea. We're just going to go with our brush and really work it into the tape line. Okay, smooth it out. All right, now I'm going to show you real quick how I roll, and then I'll stop and we'll roll the rest of the room, and then we'll pick back up. So here we go. We've got just a little bit of paint on there to start. We don't want to lift it up. I always like to give it a little twist because when I put it up over my head, I don't want to have a bunch of stuff dripping down on my face. Okay, so this is just the example. Usually we would cut the whole room in. I'm going to get close to the wall, but I'm not going to hit it. I don't want to hit the wall. I just want to get close, and I'm going to work back and forth. I need to get more paint on because I just started. Okay, when we roll this, we're going to roll the ceiling first. We're going to do the whole ceiling all the way around, then come back and do the walls. So we just want to start each line right next to the last one and overlap. And I'm just going slow. Okay, and then I can go like this and take it this way and get close to the wall, like this. Okay, it doesn't matter when we're priming which direction we go. So we're going to roll around the light, we're going to stop and cut everything in, and then what we're going to do when we get to the nails, we're going to pull out the nail on the wall we're working on. We're going to prime over that spot, and then we're just going to temporarily put the nail back in. And we're going to do that every time we coat, just so we don't get the hole filled with paint or anything like that. All right, we'll check back in. Hello everyone, we're coming back at you one more time. We got all of the walls and the ceiling completely primed with our Kills primer. And what we're going to do now is we're going to start the ceiling, the finish coat, with this product right here. It's by Benjamin Moore, and it's called Aura Bath and Spa. This product is made for bathrooms, moisture areas. It's going to help to reduce, to eliminate any kind of mold or mildew long term. And we're going to put 2 coats of this on the ceiling as our finish coat. It's a matte finish, and we're going to wait about an hour or 2 in between the 2 coats. We've waited 3 hours since we applied this primer to do this. And you only need to wait about 1 hour, but we waited 3 to really give it time to dry with fans moving. So we like this product. This is perfect for bathrooms. It's going to really make this space bulletproof when we're all done. And we're going to strain our paint like we do every time we paint. And we're going to use the same roller cover for the same great finish and texture finish that we want. And then we're going to move on to the walls from there. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. We're going to do it the same way we did with the primer. I'm going to go around and cut in just the ceiling around all the lights and everything up high, only the ceiling this time. I'm going to cut in the entire ceiling. We have videos on how to paint a ceiling, so please check that out. We're going to cut it in, and then we're going to roll it, and then we're going to move on to the next step. We'll see you there. Hello everyone. We're coming back at you today. It's the following day. You can see the finish coat on the ceiling has dried, and it's really dried to a nice even finish all the way across. We applied the 2 coats of the Aura on the ceiling, and we have all the walls. Part 3 today is going to finish this project from how to paint your bathroom from start to finish. We're going to get into the walls. We're going to apply 2 coats over our primer. If you remember, we pole sanded the walls before we put our coat of primer on. And so I like to go around and just feel all the walls. They're real smooth. And if there's any area that is not smooth, we'll just lightly sand it. But other than that, we're good to go. We're going to stick with this product here by Benjamin Moore, Aura Bath and Spa. It is made for high humidity areas. It's going to be mold and mildew resistant, and it's going to last a long time. And in about 2 weeks, after it's dried and cured, you can start to wipe the walls down. But ideally what we want to do is we want to wait at least 48 hours before we use our shower and before we do anything to create humidity in here. We want to let this product sit for a couple of days. So once we finish painting this today, we're going to go ahead and let that sit for a couple of days, put the bathroom back together, and then it can be used again. We're going to wait about 2 hours in between coats, and we'll have a fan running, and then we'll get to it. So I'm going to get you started with what we do, which is, as always, we strain our paint into the setup. We're going to stick with this roller cover, the 3/8 inch by Wooster Pro Do Z, and we're going to use our Purdy blue bristle brush to cut in tight lines, and we're going to get this all set up and then check back in. Okay, here we are. We're gonna take this one wall at a time. We have a matte finish and we have a great primer, and we're gonna take this brush. It's a blue bristle stiff brush. It's great for cutting in, and you get yourself a straight line with this, and we're gonna level it off. So we're gonna do an example of painting this one wall. I have nails that go into these spots. So we pulled out the nails, and as soon as we paint the wall, we're gonna put them right back in. But what I wanna show you is, we just give it a little tap on each side, and I always like to start a little bit lower than the ceiling line, and then come up and follow that straight line. And then I'll come back and even out below, okay? And then I'll take this edge, okay? And then I'll just come back and make a nice even line. We want about 3.5, 4 inches of a cut line, because we're gonna roll right up to this, okay? And you can feel the brush is stiff, and then you go back this way. It gives you a nice opportunity to cut a straight line. And I always just work in and then just go real slow. And then I'll work back and have a nice even brush. I don't want any hard lines up there. I just want it to be a nice and even line. Okay, so now bring the wall down this way. We're just gonna cut one wall at a time, and we're gonna roll one at a time. We want the paint to dry evenly. We want there to be wet on wet, so we get a nice uniform look on the wall. We've turned the heat down in the house. We don't want it to be too hot, because we want the paint to stay wet for a while. We don't want it to dry fast. So we turn the heat down, and we just go like this, up and down, nice smooth brush lines. And once we have this wall cut in, we're gonna roll it. Okay? There. We just do one wall at a time. Okay, we're gonna get the best look on the wall from keeping it wet all the way through. And I'm gonna show you right here, we've got our roller set up. And instead of going, and we're just starting out, we don't want to throw the paint in there and have it all gobbed up and dripping. We just get a little bit on it right now to start with, and really get the paint into the roller. We'll put our pole on in place. See, clips like that, and I can extend it. And then we're just going to go, don't put it on the edge here, because you're going to get a lot of drip over on that side. Come off the edge a little bit. It's dry, there's not a lot of paint on there, so I'm gonna come back to the pan, and I'm just gonna do a little bit at a time, and I'm gonna get a lot of paint on there. Now you can see it's thicker, okay? And now I'm gonna even this out. I'm gonna go down to the bottom, and I'm gonna go up to the top, as close as I can to the ceiling. And then I'm gonna work my way out to the outer wall, okay? Just like that. Up and down, nice and even, and then I'll keep going from left to right. And then I want to always overlap, so I'll come real close to where I just ended, and I don't go all the way up yet. I fill in to the cut line, and then I'll go just a little bit, and then I'll come all the way down, and I'll go a lot closer to the ceiling now, and I'll work my way back to the left, and I'll overlap my last section. And this method gives us a nice, clean, even roller line from left to right, putting enough product on to make sure the wall stays nice and wet. And what we want to do is we want to stop at a cut line, because if you roll all the way down to here, you're going to get a heaviness, and it's going to be a drip there and a drip at top. Once we've rolled the wall out a little bit, then when we go back, we can take it all the way down, and we can go all the way up. And then to the left, and then we're going to overlap the last section. Okay. And now on the last part right here, I don't want to put the roller all the way to the wall. I want to start off the wall a couple inches and work my way to the right, otherwise it's going to be really heavy and built up over there. So I'll go slow and I'll get as close to that other wall as possible with my roller. And then I'll work it back this way. Okay? And there you have it. I've got these areas where the nails went, so I like to remind myself so they don't get filled with paint where they were. And I'll just lightly stick them in the holes. Sometimes if the holes are small, they'll fill with paint and you won't find where your pictures and stuff went. So we're gonna follow this process throughout the whole bathroom. We're gonna do one wall at a time, cut it and roll it. We're gonna get some fans going and let it dry for about 2 hours, come back, and we're gonna put the second coat on. We're gonna check in with you after that and we'll talk a little more at the end. Hey everyone, so we're all done with our project. How to paint a bathroom from start to finish. We used Benjamin Moore Aura Bath and Spa in a matte finish. This is the product you want to use if you want your bathroom to last you for many years without mold and mildew issues. Follow the steps from start to finish in our video, how to paint a bathroom and how to paint trim in your home. Both videos go together and they'll walk you through this whole project. You're going to find that this product lasts a long time if it's done correctly. You can wait 72 hours after painting and use your bathroom again. And you wait 2 weeks before you wash the wall. It'll achieve its maximum curing hardness after about that time. Again, this is what we used and this is the end result of our project. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave me comments on your project and your bathroom, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot.